Hi, this is Steven, and in this tutorial we're going to start our Snowman series. And in this series we're going to continue learning the basics of Maya, and this is for weeks 5 and 6 of the 3D modeling and animation class. In this first tutorial we are going to look at the soft selection and the Sculpt geometry tools. These will allow us to create a terrain. So let's start with the soft selection tool. The soft selection tool is actually part of the move tool. If I select a vertex by right clicking, by default it'll move only that vertex. However, if I double click the move settings, the move icon, we get the settings. If we turn on soft select, now if we notice, there is a colored gradation from yellow to red to black, and those colors represent partial influence. That partial influence is determined by this curve inside of the settings and the fall off radius. So the radius is 5, so from the point we selected to 5 units, it's going to have this influence. So the top being full influence and the end being 0. So as I change the fall off radius, I can change that a larger area is affected. So as I push or pull, it's not only pushing that one vertex, but all those around it. So this could be useful in creating a terrain for your snow scene. If you use this tool, I would keep it probably pretty simple. I could create but the idea is you could create some geometry really quickly. Something like that. Alright, so that's the soft select tool. There are a few presets that you can play around with. For example, as I select a vertex, I can change the profile of this fall off. This is an interesting one. But you can play around with those, experiment. Alright, the next tool I want to show you is the Sculpt geometry tool. That's found in your mesh tools, sculpting tools. I want to tear this off. Now, the sculpting tool is actually a long list of tools that do slightly different things, but the basics of sculpting is your shifting the position of the vertices. You're displacing vertices in the direction of the normal, which is straight up. As I sculpt, it's going to have a fall off that acts very similarly to the soft select tool. So what I do, as I double click the sculpt tool, or else click here or the option box, it brings up the settings, and the size is determines what you're selecting there. B, if you hold down B and left click left and right, you can interactively change the size. As I click and drag, it's going to pull up vertices depending on the strength. So I'm clicking and dragging. That was a strength of 15. Now if I hold down Control and drag, it's going to push in instead of pull out, and that's going to be a strength of 15. As I increase the strength, you'll notice I get more displacement in both directions. And as you click and as you click again, it will continue to build up on itself. Alright, there's also a smooth tool that will help kind of average the vertices, and you may have to click and drag and then click and drag, and it may take a couple of passes, but you kind of see how it dissolves those shapes down. It's just so that's your smooth tool. So for the snowman scene, we don't need anything super crazy. I would just know that you can sculpt it using the soft select or use it in one of the sculpt tools here. I will say this: if you keep, I held down. All right, if you keep sculpting the same place, you might start to get some crazy overlap, and that's not really good. That's where you would need to come in and smooth. And if you look at the mesh, the more you sculpt in one spot, you start getting these stretched faces, which can just look odd. So you go back and smooth, and you do want to avoid any kind of pinching or overlaps of these surfaces. And this is all snow, so it can be pretty smooth here. Alright, I'll show you one other thing on here. There's a freeze tool that allows you to draw areas that you don't want influenced. Suppose we had a river right here. It's not. So that's the freeze tool, and if you want to unfreeze an area, you hold down shift. No, shift actually just softens that. It kind of dissolves it. Control. Anyway, go to your help in Maya to learn more about these tools, but you can do all you need for the exercise with probably the sculpt and the smooth. There is a difference between the smooth and the relax, but it's very subtle. Relax is going to, for the most part, keep your geometry form, and it's just repositioning, trying to make the faces the same size, which is typically a really good idea in sculpting. You want a good sculpting mesh, your geometry, your faces are going to be the same size. You don't have some that are really long and skinny and some that are square. So that's it. Build a terrain. I will go ahead and build one in the next tutorial. We'll start with texturing that terrain. I hope this has helped, and go and experiment with these tools. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.